Okay, there we go, 12, nice. All right, let's start. Are you ready? There's just 5 questions. So these questions are different. It's called a jumble. You have to arrange the options in order, 100% correct. So define hypothermia and heat stroke. 40 degrees greater than, 35 degrees less than. So on your screen, arrange those in order to make the correct statement. Hypothermia, then heat stroke. Slide them in order. Yellow, 5 seconds left. All right, so that's right. Hypothermia, less than 35 degrees. Heat stroke, greater than 40 degrees. Everybody understand how this game works now? So the next 4 questions will be this way. You'll have a little more time. Good. Dull life is winning. Not so dull anymore. All right, what is the order of progression to heat emergencies? What is the order in which someone's going to experience heat emergencies? Still waiting for 4 more answers. Nine. Everybody's answered? Doesn't look like it. Yeah. Give you some time on this one. All right. There we go. Good. So heat cramps to heat syncope, heat exhaustion, and heat stroke. Remember, those are the order we put the posters up. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I changed the 2.
I know, it happens. Okay, good. Next, dull life is still winning it. Thermolysis is, arrange these in order. Match them together. Five, 3, 2, 1, time's up. Conduction, heat transfer via direct contact. Convection, heat transfer via moving air. Right?
Mine was correct. Mine was correct, but I didn't put K.
Look at this alphabetically. C-O-N-D, C-O-N-V. That's why I arranged it that way. I thought somebody would get that. Who's this? Yeah, I thought so. Okay, thermolysis is, remember, alphabetical order. Alphabetical order will be the correct order. Ten seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Evaporation is heat transfer via, ladies and gentlemen, heat transfer via changing liquid to gas, and radiation, heat transfer via electromagnetic waves. A little extra lesson. E comes before R. Fun fact of the day. E comes before R. Good. All right. Well, you're putting that angry energy to good use. Good. Thermogenesis is? What do you think? Fun fact, I comes before M.
Okay.
20 seconds left.
She was that. That's why she failed.
10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Musculoskeletal. I messed this one up, sorry. Musculoskeletal, heat generated by metabolism, and integumentary, heat generated via insulation. I know. It's just the game. Don't worry, I'm not attaching your whole entire grade rests on the score of this 5 questions. Okay, good. So Miss Angry won the game. Very nicely done. Followed by Alpha 2.6 and Dull Light. Who's Alpha 2.6? You? Good. Nicely done, everybody. So, in summary for today's class, we're going to be done soon. Thermoregulation. Don't forget about our specific temperature ranges. What is thermoregulation? The 2 categories being thermogenesis and thermolysis. What body systems contribute to that? Heat and cold emergencies. We discussed those about what different underlying conditions can cause them, what environmental conditions can cause them, and then finally risk factors, the young, the old, medications. Keep those all in mind. You see how your scene assessment and your sample history can bring you so much information that you can use to quickly diagnose and treat your patients. And as you can see, someone with a heat stroke or hypothermia, they're time sensitive. They need very simple but very timely treatments. Barotrauma, which also means what again? Yeah, pressure trauma. So we either get that for quickly going from high to low pressure or low to high pressure. Air embolisms. Where do the air embolisms form again?
Bloodstream.
The bloodstream and in tissues. Great, yeah. Don't forget the risk factors would be activities. Things like flight or scuba diving. And then finally, treatment for this. How do we treat this?
Decompression.
That's right, a decompression chamber. Do we have one in Doha, in Qatar? Yeah, where? Wakra. A Wakra.
What's that?
What?
What's that?
What is what?
Decompression.
A decompression chamber is where they can put your entire body into like a room that's pressure sealed, and they can change the atmospheric pressure and the oxygen concentration to dissolve the nitrogen bubbles back into the blood. And then they'll slowly bring the pressure back down or back up to normal to give you that normalized condition again. Finally, drowning. Near drowning versus full drowning. Don't forget the differences there. Pathophysiology, so why it becomes difficult to breathe, why some children can survive long periods underwater, and then associated problems we get from drownings, like hypothermia, and then resuscitation. So the big thing about here, resuscitation with hypothermic or hyperthermic patients, what do you think an extra goal will be in resuscitating them if they're in cardiac arrest? Normally we're going to do, CPR, compressions, airway ventilations. We're going to give IV epi. If they're in a dysrhythmia, we'll give an antiarrhythmic. We will shock. What else will we do that's extra for temperature-related cardiac arrest? Get them back to a normal temperature. Yeah, that's absolutely as important as other things. We will never pronounce them to be dead without them being in the normal temperature range. Okay? I've done a cardiac arrest on a hypothermic patient for 1 hour and 20 minutes from between getting them in the winter out of the woods, bringing them back into the ambulance, and then taking to the hospital. You can't get a pronouncement of death, so they had to do the colonic, rewarm his body, finally to pronounce him dead at that time. Because, oh my goodness, this was like before Lucas even existed. Kidding me? This was 2005, yeah. Okay, and then resuscitation with drowning, what do you think an extra priority is going to be there? Well, they're going to be dead, so we can encourage them to live, for sure. Right, so we got to prioritize our airway management. If you want, usually you should intubate these ones, not a communal feed, and do inline suction to get water that they may have aspirated out of their lungs. Because that was the cause of death. It is a medical cardiac arrest, but that's not cardiac in nature. It would be hypoxemic in nature. So we have to prioritize the airway as much as compressions. Because we're trying to resuscitate them, make them alive again. So that's part of our job, right, is resuscitating dead people. So if you have an 18-year-old who's drowned, you're just going to leave him in the pool dead? Well, what's the difference? He has no pulse. Okay? If he's rigor mortis, Right, he's beyond resuscitatable. We have certain clinical death parameters that are met. If he's chopped in half, his brains are coming out, he's burnt, although it'd be hard to be burned underwater, but let's say he's grossly charred, okay, decapitated, yes, we won't do that. But if he's intact and not rigor mortis, definitely we're gonna resuscitate him and make it very important to intubate and inline suction. So before you're allowed to leave class, let's hear the exit keys. What's the question, Azus?
What are the extra considerations for hypothermic cardiac arrest?
Yes, what are they?
Temperature.
Temperature what? Full sentences, please.
Normal temperature.
Bring them to normal temperature. Very nice, thank you. That is well done. Adel,
What causes decompression sickness? Coming up from diving and moving to from high to low to high
hi, what?
altitude.
Yeah, pressure. Yeah, and altitude can be part of that. See, remember the opening photo of the presentation? This one. This one here. So that's my friend here. He does these extreme adventures. This is Everest. These are Sherpas right here, Nepalese Sherpas. So this can be another thing too. We don't have to fly. We can come down or be in low pressure environments and get pressure emergencies. Nicely done. Thank you, Adel. Mohammed.
What is the treatment for decompression sickness? Decompression chamber.
That's right, decompression chamber. Nicely done. Thank you, Mohammed. Samiha.
The type of injury may disrupt thermoregulation,
Burns and trauma too. That's right, yeah, anything affecting integumentary. Nicely done, Samiha. Rukaya.
What is the difference between mild and severe hypothermia?
Shivering is present when?
And mild.
That's right. So the shivering going away is not a good thing. You might think, oh, they're warming up, but take their temperature. If the shiver goes away and they're still cold, they're going to get colder. Nicely done. Thank you. Anis Fatima.
Difference between drowning and partial drowning. No, complete drowning and partial drowning. Partial, the patient is trying to bleed. Complete, no bleeding.
That's right. So lack of vital signs with a total drowning. That's a complete drowning. Sahla, what does yours say? What is the diving reflex? Sort of, yeah. Overall, we can make a general statement about what happens to the body.
You have bubbles on the body.
The laryngospasm was that was just from drowning. But remember, the metabolism slows down. That's the diving reflex to preserve the amount of energy we have stored. Aisha Shah, what does yours say?
How long does it take for drowning to cause brain damage? 10 minutes or more?
Yeah, in fact, less than that. How much time does it take for brain damage to occur in cardiac arrest? 4 to 6 minutes. Yeah, so we're looking at that 4 to 6 minute window. Very nice. But 10 minutes, absolutely, that would be the absolute latest we would get out of a drowning. Mosina.
When can decompression sickness occur? That is during high altitude and unpressurized air travel.
That's right. So high altitude and then also very low altitude, high pressure.
Signs and symptoms of decompression sickness, pain in joint, skin rash, and could lead to
Not neurological death, but neurological symptoms like confusion, altered loss of consciousness, and then death. Okay, great, nicely done. Amin?
Define hypothermia, homostasis, and hypothermic differences.
Yes, so what are the temperature ranges? Hypothermia is
Less than
less than?
35.
That's correct. But this was defined, a hypothermic patient environmentally is less than 34. That's correct, yeah. These are way outside of ideal ranges. How about normal is around
35.
37? And then hyperthermia from environmental? That's right, yeah. And the normal range, like you pointed out, the normal range for an adult is really between greater than 35 and less than 38. But now we're talking about extreme ranges when we have to be worried and we have to control temperature. Does that make sense, everybody? So when you observe a patient who's maybe outside of normal range, but inside of this maximum range, we don't have to be aggressive with our control of temperature. But if they fall below 34 or above 40, we must aggressively treat that condition. That's when we have either cellular death or cellular cooking. All right, finally, Banan?
What are the mechanisms of the abdominal
What are mechanisms of thermoregulation?
So like everything had a better